Welcome to the Diva Deets, the ultimate podcast for women over 40 who are ready to take control of their health, ditch the diets, and lose weight for good. I'm your host and coach, Danya Powers, and I've literally hit my mic 3 times. We haven't even got started, so it's going to be an interesting episode already. Listen, the woman that I'm talking to right now is a woman who is thinking, okay, it's January. If I don't get this together now, if I don't get my crap together, I'm going to be in the exact same spot by spring. And then it's going to be summer. I'm going to be regretting my choices and trying to try on bathing suits and super upset and crying in the dressing room. That is a part of you that I want to just reach. Maybe that part of you is hopeful right now, or maybe the other part of you is just tired of thinking about it and you've just given up. I've talked to somebody the other day that was like, just give me the shots. And I get it. You know, first and foremost, I anytime that the entire medical industry is recommending something, it's because there's money involved. It's not because it's actually, super awesome. Okay. They're always going to be, we're going to get to the other side of this. And there's going to be some really, I hate how much damage is actually going to come out of this, because now it's like 1 in 3 Americans is on some kind of a GLP-1. GLP-1s are life-saving. I am not anti them. But I watch I watch this community very closely, not just my community, but I'm in the coaching community, and I watch them get abused terribly. And I watch bodies change, lives get destroyed because of it. I had a coach message me recently that I hadn't heard from him in a long time, and he's completely quit coaching because so much damage happened from the GLP-1s. It's not something, I mean, you have to weigh the possibilities, right? So I'm not anti-GLP-1. And if you are on a GLP-1, I can help you so that when we get off the GLP-1, you're in a good spot. Does that make sense? And that's a passion of mine. So I do have a program called Beyond the Shot, and that is specifically geared toward that. So, but you've done this before, right? You've done this before. You've started plans. You've been disciplined. You've really, you have white knuckled your way through things that worked until they didn't. Until they just quite frankly didn't. And so today I want to talk you through how to lose 20 to 30 pounds by April, at least to get down 30 inches or more by April. And that's what works in real life, because sometimes the inches matter more than the pounds. I'm not going to lie. At this age, there are many times that our body has traded in muscle for fat. And when we put the muscle back on, the scale doesn't really change that much, but the body does. And that's why you'll see women, like one of my biggest losers last year, not last year, 2025, but my biggest loser in 2024 was Ginger. And Ginger was down 50 pounds, but 72 inches. And that's what that looks like. Like they're not necessarily going to be coinciding. You're always going to lose more inches than you do pounds on the scale, which is a good thing because we want to keep some muscle. But I want to tell you how that actually works in real life, especially in a body over 40. Not a highlight reel, and not to be more motivated, but just to understand what you need to do. Okay. Here's the thing that we have to clear up. Losing 20 to 30 pounds by April is not by finding the perfect plan. It's about working with your body instead of fighting against it. And sometimes that means that you have to stop and listen to it. Plateaus always tell a story. And this is something I run into with clients. I'm always so thankful that my client is still with me when they hit their plateau. Because inevitably, when they leave my program and they hit their plateau, they think, oh, this doesn't work anymore. That is not true. We're getting information. We're getting communication from your body. And it's so important that we lean into that. I had a client recently that hit a big time plateau, reversed, started putting on weight. At first, it was not really affecting her. And then it started storing as fat. And it was like something else is going on. She's like one of my most consistent clients. In fact, she won Queen of Consistency for the year of 2025. One of them, we had 2 of them this year. And I was just like, you need to go to the doctor, get your blood work done. And sure enough, her thyroid was not working on the medication that she had. So now we have to let her thyroid adjust, even though, the first reaction she has, we got to cut these calories. And I'm like, no, don't do it. Granted, I can't follow you home, so I can't control that, but I'm hoping that she trusts the process, even amidst this setback. And it was a gradual setback. Thyroids always are. Thyroids are just, we need them to work. And then when they don't work, it's a sneaky little thing, right? That was the first thing I got checked when I gained my weight, was like, my thyroid must be messed up. Nope. I was just genuinely not eating enough real food. I was trying to deficit myself completely to death, and that was what had happened to me. But you want to work with your body instead of fighting against it. I want you to think about it like this. In your 20s and 30s, your body was like a car that would run even if you skipped the oil changes. It really would. You could treat it pretty massively badly. You could drink on the weekends, you could have hangovers, still go to work, not a big deal. You could ignore the warning lights. You could skip meals and it could run on fumes. And you wouldn't really gain weight. You might feel bad for a couple of hours, but everything bounced back really fast. In your 40s, your 50s, and your 60s, that car still runs as long as you maintain it. And you can't ignore the basics. It doesn't just slow down now. It will just straight up not start for you. It will push back. And it's not, just like I said with my client, it's not failure, it's feedback. It's feedback because things are different at this age. And that's why you can't just listen to just any podcast and lose weight. I wish you could. But that's why I created something specific for women over 40. Yes, sometimes women in their 30s go through this. I'm not going to lie. Some of them, in fact, they're getting younger and younger as we come out with so much chemical push for weight loss and all these different things. I am noticing changes in women's bodies younger and younger and younger. And so we do have some women in their 30s. We even have some women in their 20s that are struggling with like PCOS, and it has really similar attributes to it. So those are not failure things. And I want to make sure that you understand that that's feedback. So fat loss always still comes down to eating less than your body needs to maintain its current weight. What's happening is you're here at this weight. We're eating less to maintain, and we're not dramatically dropping that, but we're eating less. Now your body's going to adapt to that. And then if you still need to lose weight, we are going to do one of two things. We're either going to hang here and see if the body continues to drop, or if we need to, we'll drop down a little bit more and see if it adapts to that. Sometimes when you're over 40, when we drop down a little bit more, it doesn't adapt. It starts going up. So we kind of need to hang here until it does what it needs to do, repairs whatever it needs to do, does what it needs to do. And then it may start dropping again, especially if it's still in a deficit. And that's what happens many, many times. You cannot stay in a deficit the rest of your life. Having said that, nobody is a perfect mathematical equation, and finding that happy space for each client, everybody's just a little bit different. We kind of know the ballpark because science is science, right? We don't argue with the science, but fat loss always still comes down to eating less than your body needs to maintain its current weight. And that hasn't changed. So what has changed though, is the margin of error that you have. And that is why extreme calorie droppage will actually cause your body. So I say you drop down too low, your body's going to be like, oh, hell no. We know how to do this. We better keep you alive, sister. We've been doing this successfully for 49 years. Let me show you how it's done. Okay. So in midlife, you can't starve all week and fix it later. You can't. And you also, when I watch people do these extreme diets, lose 100 pounds, and then they're just shocked when in 6 months they gain it all back. I'm looking at them like they didn't actually change what needed to change. So the body was really just losing all of its muscle. You were starving it literally to death. It was a malnutrition. So we're down here. It's adapting, but it's adapting the wrong way. Fast weight loss is almost always muscle. Fast weight loss is not recommended. I like for my clients to lose a half a pound to a pound a week. And that way we know when we hit, but we're never like too dramatically far from that midpoint, right? So you can't starve all week and expect to fix it later. You can't lose 100 pounds in 6 months and expect to fix the muscle part later. Your body's going to fight you on that and really, really dig the heels in. You can't skip meals and expect energy. It doesn't happen anymore, and it's not going to happen for you. Your body is going to go to resources it needs to keep you alive, period, end of story. If it has to choose between keeping you alive and losing fat, what do you think it's going to choose? That's like you telling me I'm going to go to the beach and not work out. I mean, if I had to be like, go to the beach, work out with Coach D, I'm going to choose the beach. Your body's like, keep you alive, lose fat. We're kicking fat to the curb. We're going to keep you alive and store as much of it as we can because it's the only thing we've got to go to right now. You also cannot just rely on willpower alone. You will inevitably get burned out and frustrated and quit. It's kind of like trying to balance your checkbook, but never really looking at your bank account and just hoping it works out. I've actually done that before. It doesn't work. What actually works is having an understanding of knowing roughly what your body needs, eating enough protein so you're not starving, and making it a priority, and then creating steady, boring, repeatable meals on a deficit. Well, I said boring because in the boring and the mundane, that's where magic happens, baby. In all things, cleaning your house, washing your clothes, putting on your makeup, taking off your makeup, brushing your teeth. That's where you're kept, alive, clean, happy, right? Not not extreme, just really, really consistent. And that's how 1 to 2 pounds can add up by 20 to 30 by April. So, um, here is another place that women over 40 get kind of tripped up, and I want to make sure that you are aware of this. Okay. I need to burn this off, is what's going through their head. I need to burn this off. I need to add more cardio. And now I run into this with my clients all the time, especially if we've already got them deficited pretty darn good. When they start adding cardio and they're burning too much, and we get close to their BMR, which is their basal metabolic rate, their body's going to buck back and start pulling off muscle. And in fact, with cardio, you have to make sure you eat, especially some carbohydrates prior, so that your body has something to go to, so it doesn't go to muscle. I mean, some of it is still potentially going to burn off muscle if you're being crazy with your cardio. But thinking I need to burn it off, movement at this stage is not about punishment. It's about signal sending. Am I telling you to skip your cardio? No, I am not. Cardio is cardio. It's important. We do it Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, typically on my clients' plans. And they have a tendency to just want to add more until we get the hang of it. But 20 to 30 minutes of movement is fabulous. And then you're still getting your steps every day. That's that low, slow burn. But the cardio is, you shouldn't be able to hardly breathe. You should feel like you're going to puke. It's kind of that level, not necessarily puke, but you know what I mean? It's just out of breath. Really working your heart and your lungs. So strength training tells your body, hey, we still need this muscle. Don't get rid of it. Walking and cardio should tell your body we're safe to use energy. You have to be putting energy in order to get energy out. Okay. When you don't lift, your body goes, cool. I'll lose muscle instead. You have to be putting energy in order to get energy out. So losing muscle is like shrinking the engine in a car, like we talked about earlier. Suddenly everything feels harder. It's like you're trying to do a little bitty engine in a V8 car. And you're not going to go very far in that, to put a Barbie engine inside of a Ford Mustang, everything will feel harder, even if you're eating less. I cannot believe I'm doing car analogies. My husband, if you're listening to this, yes, you have rubbed off on me. What can I say? Let's say this in a way that doesn't make you feel like you're a failure, because I want to emphasize that I have so much compassion, because I've just been on every wrong side of this. And as a coach, it's humiliating to have a setback. It's absolutely humiliating to have weight gain, because I'm in front of a camera every day. 7 days a week, I'm in front of a camera. And so to know that I'm going to be putting my cellulite on display, or my flawed body on display, and say, hey, this is me. It's hard. It is very hard. But I also understand a setback has an end to it, and I'm just leaning into the setback. And so I have the patience with it, but it is hard to see myself like that. What I have to keep telling myself is, on the other side of this is going to be so great. And I'm so excited about that day, right? But a lot of women tell me they're doing everything. But here's the reality. Most of them are dehydrated. They're not drinking water. It's like pulling teeth to get women to drink water sometimes. Your whole body is made of water, and you're telling me I don't like the taste of water. Okay. Get over it. Drink some dang water. Put on your big girl panties. Most of them are undersleeping. No matter what I tell them, they're going to stay up till 1 o'clock in the morning because they're quote unquote night owls. No, you're not. You're a disciplined woman that can be a big girl and go to bed on time. Said with love. So you need a certain amount of sleep. So make yourself get that sleep. Your weight loss depends upon that. If you want to lose weight and not stay overweight, your sleep is critical. You have to get 6 to 7 hours of sleep minimum. Okay. And then living in a constant stress response, living in survival mode, living in this mode of reactive to everything, reactive to my husband, reactive to my kids, reactive to the diet, reactive to the work stress, reactive to the day. If that constant stress response, that's like trying to remodel a house while the fire alarm is going off. You're going to constantly have the fire department here kicking you around the house, making sure everything's okay. No, we can't work on this house. We have to make sure this is all under control. And a lot of fire alarms go off when you're over 40. There's a lot of different alarms happening anyway. You don't need to add to that. So water, sleep, and stress don't feel exciting, but they literally calm the system enough for fat loss to even be possible. So if you're supporting that with good fitness, building your muscle, getting your consistent cardio in, getting your steps in every day, and you're hitting your water, sleep, and helping your stress stay under control, that makes fat loss possible. That's why I'm a broken record about them. And I get to the point where it's like, are they even hearing me? Do people even hear me? Right. And this is where I'm going to say this because I do actually really do this every single day. And I don't know if you can tell, but I am overcoming what I would probably say was a sinus infection that I just nipped in the bud. I don't know. I had one day where I felt a little bit started to feel stuffed up, and then I lost my voice on Friday. So I ended up just going and patting at a coffee shop and, writing. But I don't ever skip my Ziva life. And so this is my Ziva life. I haven't drank it yet today. But this is something that I don't skip because when I am eating for fat loss, your immune system, and I'm working out, your immune system can actually get compromised by working out pretty consistently. Did you know that? Because if you're not eating enough nutrition, you're not getting enough balance, that is going to affect everything. And Ziva Life has helped me so much. Even when I did get hit with something, I was able to bounce back really quickly. So when I'm in a fat loss phase, God, I'm having trouble talking today. When I'm in a fat loss phase, when I'm eating less, when I'm training consistently and I'm juggling everything, I personally use Ziva Life as support. Truly. It is a microalgae superfood. 1 teaspoon a day is all that it takes. That's it. That's all that I'm using a day. And so that 1 teaspoon a day helps me with gut health. That is helping me with micronutrients, overall energy when the calories are lower. It does not replace meals. I want to make sure you know that. It does not replace meals. It does not replace effort, but it helps me stay consistent instead of feeling run down. And like I said, my bounce back has been great. I don't even remember the last time I've gotten sick. It's been the first time in a long time. In the past, a sinus infection would take me out. I would be on antibiotics. And the only credit I can have is the only thing that I've had that's different is Ziva Life to my world. And so this superfood microalgae has made a huge difference. And so if you are curious about it, go to ziva.life. And if you enter the code Diva Deets or the Diva Deets, THEDIVADEETS, you'll get 30% off. That is the code that they're giving that steep discount. It's the only time that you can get that discount. And so I really try to only mention things that I have actually used myself. I've actually been asked to be sponsored by a sock company, and I have not tried their socks yet. But I do recommend Ziva Life. So ziva.life. Code Diva Deets, code the Diva Deets for 30% off. And I would love to hear what you think about it when you try it. I like to mix it with the emergency packs, the vitamin C packs, and that's what I mix it with. So do that with my water. And now I have the microalgae, which also has a ton of vitamin C and zinc in it, but it also has that extra pump of vitamin C, and that's what I take every single day. So that's it. Let's get back to work on this and figure out why women don't hit this goal, because most women don't hit their April goal because, well, not because they didn't want it badly enough, because that's not the case. We get so burned out of seeing, or not even burned out is not the word. We get so discouraged seeing our body in pictures, seeing the back of ourselves in videos or photos. It's enough to make you go cry somewhere. So, well, I'm going to pause you and take my doggy life. Man, podcasting is better than the cats fighting, though. But we were talking about why women don't typically hit this goal. And women miss it because they try to do everything all at once. Or the biggest thing, I did a comic book carousel recently because I will watch women focus on their habits, focus. They're weighing in for me. I'm just hitting my mic all over the place. They're weighing in for me, and I will watch them get on that scale and then just be like, screw it. And it's like the scale is important to me as a coach. I want to see if you're responding to food. I'm not watching. I do want it to drop, yes, but I want to see if it's going up and down with food, if it's metabolizing, if we've got maybe, because that tells me if you've got a gut issue. It tells me a lot of things. It tells me like maybe we need to try this, maybe we need to try that, right? So it's not a perfect science. And the scale measures one thing, how you weigh in gravity. That's all it tells us, right? One day off food, you cannot gain a ton of fat. We were out of town for 12 days, eating somewhat close to plan, especially that first week, we ate pretty close to plan. But like from Christmas all the way through New Year's and the first part of the year, um, we didn't eat great and we drank a lot of alcohol. I mean, we were staying in a cabin, nobody was driving. So we were, having fun and we had fun Christmas cocktails and different stuff like that. So yeah, I gained about 3 pounds of fat. I don't regret a moment of it. We had some great memories, and it's just sometimes it's just really nice to not be counting your calories. You know what I mean? So women don't miss it because they have these holidays. They miss because they're trying to do everything all at once, and then they panic when progress is slow. Out comes the sledgehammer, and they are knocking down all those habits left and right. Like, oh, screw it, I give up, and then I won't hear from them again. And then they'll be like, I'm so sorry I ghosted you. And then they'll be back. And I'm here for it. I don't ever give up on somebody. But if they decide that they have one imperfect week and it ruined it, so many women quit. And we work on that mentality inside of the divas because progress does not disappear when life gets messy. It disappears when you stop showing up, when you take a sledgehammer to life. Okay. So if you were sitting across from me, this is really exactly what I would say. And this is exactly what I say to my clients. We are not trying to restart. So stop restarting. Let's pick meals that you can repeat. We're going to watch the scale, see if we can need to adjust. Track your food. Track your food. Everything that goes in your mouth, track your food. I had 6 extra crackers yesterday and it pushed me way over on my calories. Track your food. Okay. So let's pick meals that you can repeat because tracking does suck. But if you're just having to be like, oh, I did it, I'm tracking that, just repeat that track, just repeat that track, just repeat that track. Pick meals that you can repeat. Lift weights you can control. Simple weightlifting program. Sometimes even I'll get super excited and just over program a client, not on purpose, but just I want them to try something new. That does happen. But you want to just make sure that you are walking, that you are drinking water, that you are getting sleep, that you are getting your cardio workouts, your weightlifting workouts, and stay in the room long enough for the work to compound. Okay. That is how April looks different for you. Now, you may not need to lose 20 or 30 pounds, but maybe you just need to lose 15. This is the same mentality. Okay. How do you lose 100? We stay like this for 12 months or more, sometimes 18 months, sometimes 2 years to lose 100 pounds, right? If you really just got a lot out of today's episode, if this helped you, because I do want to make sure that you know that I'm not trying to encourage you to have another restart. I would love to help you. I genuinely would love to help you. I still have 5 openings in January right now. This is the only month that I open up for 10 clients. I work with women over 40 inside of my coaching, my one-on-one coaching program. And I'm not going to lie to you. If you come to me and you are in your 20s and you are desperately looking for a coach and you are financially vested in it and you are very serious about it, I don't turn young people away, just so you know. But I do primarily work with older women. I'm working with moms. I'm working with busy grandmas, grandmas that are still working full time, grandmas that are retired. We have all different kinds of grandmas in my group. But we focus on strength. We focus on structure. We focus on sustainable fat loss that actually fits real life. And we have a wide variety of ages because of that. We are trying to help, all kinds of careers. We are helping stay-at-home moms. We're helping career moms. We're helping many people as we can. And we just recently took on another coach. If you've listened to any of my podcasting, she coaches running only. So if you are looking more for a running program, that is something that you can message me the word run and I will send you Coach Leah's way. But if this is what you're trying to do, lose 20 to 30 pounds in April, and it sounds like something you want to explore, find me on Instagram or Facebook. Instagram, Danya Powers EC. On Facebook, Danya Powers, and comment the word ready. message me the word ready, and we'll talk through what support looks like for you. Every time that you message me, it is me answering. So if it takes a little bit to get to you, sometimes I just have a lot of messages to answer, but it is always me answering. My passion is to help change this generation. I do feel like you go through struggles because you're supposed to get a voice on the other side in victory. And that is something that a life of struggle leads you to. Either it leads you to the point that you realize you can really help a lot of people, or you just get pounded by the weight and give up. I've not given up. And so my hope is that you don't give up either. Because when you have support, life is different. Life changes. And so if you need help and you are ready for change, I want to talk through what that would look like for you. All right. So until next time, stay strong, stay consistent, and stay fabulous, my divas. Thanks for tuning into this latest episode of the Diva Deets. If this helped you and you found it valuable, share it with a friend who needs to hear it. Ready for more support? Join my free Facebook community or join my coaching community. The details are in the show notes. Don't forget to subscribe, and until next time, stay strong, stay consistent, and stay fabulous, my divas.